All right, what is up, my friends? Welcome to my Strixhaven School of Mages complete set review. Limited, constructed, we're nailing every single card. Every single one, all right? And we've already done basically everything at this point. It's our last section. We started on lessons because they're all so weird and they're like half magic cards. Started on lessons. We do white, blue, black, red, green, and all the houses or colleges, whatever. No Harry Potter references here, please. Now we're on Colorless. Anything you missed, please go watch it on my YouTube. All right, I'll put the link in chat for my YouTube. If we're on the YouTube now, go to the playlist in the info section or whatever. And I've got it's just like 6 hours of set review you can go watch. It's freaking great. It's awesome. Brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com. Brought to you by Colorless. Love my sponsors. BCWSupplies.com. Inside Esports. Thanks to all them. Let's finish strong here. Let's finish strong as we can be. Are you ready? Colorless. Let's go. Biblioplex Assistant. 4 mana for a 2/1 flying artifact creature. Comes into play. Put an instant or sorcery card in your graveyard on top of your library. It's alright. It's like an okay draft card. The ability to trigger Magecraft again is pretty cool. But a 2/1 flyer over 4 is pretty mopey. I'd want a lot of good spells in my deck before I play this card. If I have 5 or 6 premium removal spells or like some really good card draw spells, etc. It could be a thing, but 2/1 flyer over 4 is pretty bad. And again, we're not drawing the card. Going to the top of your library is not card advantage. It's just making your top card a little bit better. So, it's alright. Probably not thrilled if this card's in my deck in Limited. Next up is Campus Guide, which is quite the opposite. 2 mana for a 2/1 artifact. Comes into play, search your basic land, and put it on top of your deck. This is fine. A 2/1 for 2 is serviceable. And then just Mana Fixer helps you splash. Again, going on top of your library isn't like the best, but it's still fine. Solid draft card. If you don't need the fixing, don't play this card. But if you're splashing a third color and you need to fix your mana or whatever, this card's totally reasonable. It's a totally reasonable card. Up next is Cody, the Sorting Hat. Did I say that? That wasn't me. That was you. And it's actually our best in show. Best in show Cody here. This is a little bit having to do with there not being that many Colorless cards. But I think Cody's actually pretty tight. It looks really silly, right? It's a freaking cartoon book. It's got Wooburg written on it. Like, what do you do with this card, right? But this card costs 3. This card, it's a 1/4 that can block, which is fine. It ramps a mana for you. It essentially makes a mana of any color because turning 4 into Wooburg is adding a mana. And then it gives the next spell you cast Cascade for instants and sorceries. That's pretty good. We cast a 5-drop or whatever and go find some 3-mana removal spell or whatever and just keep doing that over and over and over again. What deck wants this card? Again, this doesn't need to be played in a 5-color deck. It's got Wooburg written on it, all right? But maybe it's a blue-red spell deck. It's just kind of a cool card. I don't know. Like, you're just playing a lot of spells. You're playing, like, ramp spells, maybe. You're playing, I don't know exactly, but definitely a cool card. Again, there aren't really a ton of great options in Colorless, so I could pick the dual lands or whatever, but I think this card can see some play. It's kind of cool. What are you playing with this? Some sort of spell deck. Behold the Multiverse, some ramp spells maybe, maybe it's like Teamer for like the big Izzet spells and then the rampy cards too. It would need a weird deck to find a home, but the effect is quite powerful. All of your cards cascading. This is a mana rock that gives all of your cards cascade. Think about it like that. Take away the silly picture of a cartoon book. Take away the Wooburg. Take away the extraneous stuff. And this is just a mana rock that fixes your mana, adds a mana, and gives all your spells cascade. Right, we spells that make token makers. I think this card's pretty cool. I think this card could definitely see play. I know it looks silly. That's the best in show. In Limited, you make this card work in Limited, send me a screenshot, and I'll buy you a drink when events come back or something like that. All right? Extra turn spells? Yeah, for sure. There's plenty of spells that make tokens. Teamer Ultimatum, that's not really that good. But Instant Speed Cascade, it's just pretty sweet. I like it. It is easier to remove than Mana Rock. Absolutely. Absolutely. But the upside is definitely there. Upside is definitely there. That's the best in show. Limited. I mean, there are spells that make creatures. You can have it. You can have it, maybe. Let's keep going. Cogwork Archivist. 6 mana for a 4/5 reach. And you can put a card from your graveyard at the bottom of owner's library. I mean, this is like draft filler. If you really need a top end card. You can block flyers, which is kind of cool. Just allow ignore timing restrictions. I mean, no, you still got to cast your sorcery at sorcery speed. So yeah, just draft filler, whatever. Next up is Excavated Wall. 1 mana for an 0/4 defender. Pay 1 to mill a card. So there is stuff in Lorehold that wants you to exile cards from your own graveyard. Is it worth playing an 0/4 wall for 1? I mean, probably not, but I could imagine a worse card in my draft deck. It's okay. It's okay, you know? Moving on. Letter of Acceptance. Probably the best Darksteel Ingot ever printed. 3 mana for any color mana rock. Play 2, sack it, draw a card. Sort of like a Mind Stone. Good draft card if you're fixing your mana in draft. Probably not good enough in limited. But definitely a solid draft card for splashing. It's kind of cool. Up next is Reflective Golem. 3 mana for a 2/3. But if you cast an instant or sorcery card that targets only this, you can pay 2 and you can copy it. These sort of effects are always like super narrow and hard to use. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool with the 1 green with Defiant Strike, or with the 1 green give a trample draw card. But paying 2 is kind of tough. It's just kind of a cute card. I don't know. It seems okay and limited. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Up next is Spell Satchel. 2 mana for an artifact with Magecraft. Whenever you cast or an instant sorcery card, you put a book counter on it. Remove a book counter to add a mana, and then remove 3 book counters to draw a card. If your deck has like a ton of cantrips, it's like kind of cool, but it's a pretty bad mana rock, and it's an okay card draw engine, but not really. Realistically, if you're playing a bunch of spells and spinning your wheels anyway, you're probably drawing cards regardless. So, not super exciting. Could be kind of cool if you're playing on like red burn spells. You're not playing card draw, and you use it just to draw cards. Yeah, if it cost 1 or something like that, it'd be kind of cool, but it's not super great. It's not super great. Up next is Strixhaven Stadium. 3 mana for a mana rock. Whenever you tap the stadium, you put a point counter on your Quidditch Stadium. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, whenever the words, it's definitely not Quidditch. So basically, you play this. Whenever a creature deals damage to you, you lose a point. Whenever a creature you control deals damage, you get a point. If you have 10 points, you win the game. All right? That's what it does. If you're playing super, super wide tokens, this card could definitely win the game in a turn or two, but probably not there. Probably not there. Up next is Team Pennant. 1 mana equipment. Gets +1/+1 and trample. It equips tokens for 1 and anything else for 3. There are a lot of tokens in this set. A lot of the best lessons make tokens. In Quandrix in particular, Quandrix makes the fractal tokens that are all pretty big usually. This card's solid. Without equipping a token, it's still okay. It's passable. But on tokens is really, really good. Trample's great. Short Sword's already sort of playable. Equip your 40/40. Right. This is your Quandrix. This is your path to getting your 40/40 in from your Quandrix Mythic Rare. Yeah, solid, very solid draft card. Constructed, honestly, I don't want to say never, because it's all mana card. I could see this card seeing playing constructed, maybe. Maybe. If there's like a token deck that's super heavy on tokens, maybe. Travel and Vigilance is pretty good. Up next is Wandering Archaic. And what the hell is going on here? Are there Eldrazi in freaking Strixhaven? Like, what the hell is that thing? Is that Kozilek or something? I don't know what's happening. Colorless, 4/4 for 5. It's an avatar, or so they say, whoever they is. Whenever an opponent casts an instant sorcery spell, they can pay 2. If they don't, you can copy the spell. So it's like an okay card at face value. 4/4 for 5 is kind of eh. Copying spells is cool, but they have the option to just not do that. They can just kill it. Front side is okay. It's passable. The back side is Explore the Vast Lands. 3-mana colorless sorcery. Each player looks at top 5 cards of their library. They reveal a land and or instant or sorcery and put it in their hand and then gains 3 life. So it's divination, but your opponent also gets to do it too, which makes things not super exciting. So kind of a very strange card here. Kozilek goes to school, and this weird divination, each player draws cards and gains life variant. I don't know what to do with this card. It's very, very strange. It's a solid draft card. It's a 4/4 for 5. It's a pretty good upside, but I don't even know. Kozilek goes to school. Are there no schools in the Blind Eternities? I don't know. I'm just going to move on here. Zephyr Boots. 1-mana equipment. Equip creature is flying. Whenever it deals common damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card, equip 2. Madness is definitely returning in the new Innistrad sets because there's so much discard stuff for it. This card's pretty reasonable. Honestly, it's like Copter Boots. Flying is a good ability. Looting is a good ability. If it's equipped for 1, this card would be bonkers, I think. The Looter Booter. Love it. Love it. Or if it costs 2 and equipped for 1, it'd be a lot better, I think, too. But very cool Fervent Champion. Not sure if it's good enough. There's no power bonuses here. Just evasion and then some looting. If we're looting for good value here, discarding Skyclave Shade or Fiery Temper or whatever, I think this card's pretty sweet. Without it, maybe not. It's a great draft card because the flying is worth it almost by itself. And then Looting Away Lands is great too. Constructed, probably not, but great draft card. You're playing some big chonkers, you need to get them through. Now I have our lands. We have Access Tunnel. Novus card's not good with Goblin Pile Driver. Colorless Land, tap 3. Creature power 3 less can't be blocked this turn. Just a fine draft card to push through. Not really playable in Constructed. If there's like a Knight of the Reliquary kind of card that can go fish this out, sure. But for the most part, this is a stall breaker in limited. Rogue's Passage, it's fine. You know, it's all right. It's a thing. Up next is Archway Commons. Listen, I knew. What was it called? Oh my god, I forgot what it was called. I knew Rupture Spire. All right, and Rupture Spire is the same thing as this card. I went 9-1 at Pro Tour Shards of Alara with 2 Rupture Spire in my deck. But yeah, I mean, this is a common multicard fixer. The standard format would need to be pretty wacky to want to play this card. But definitely a passable limited fixer. If your deck's a little slow, you need fixing. It's not great, but it's fine. It's fine. Up next is the Biblioplex. Gonna wear out my my nerd button here. Colorless Land. Pay 2. Look at the top card of your library. If it's an instant or sorcery card, you can reveal it and put it in your hand. If you don't, put it in the bottom. Activate this ability only if you have 0 or 7 cards in hand. Anyone who's played Library in Cube Draft knows having 7 cards in hand is pretty freaking difficult. Now, it's an untapped colorless land, so the cost here, opportunity-wise, is not too low. I'll put it in your graveyard, sure. If you can just like play this card in your deck for a very low opportunity cost, it's okay. Obviously, different decks want to be hellbent than have 7 cards in their hand, but operating on both sides is certainly okay. It's definitely a decent card if you're empty-handed or whatever. But it's clunky, you know. It's a card, a little bit of value. I'm not super thrilled about it, honestly. Again, Magic's more about the board these days and trying to, like, you know, not affect the board and draw cards. So, Up next is Hall of Oracles, which is an unknown shores with upside. Taps are colorless. You can tap 1 mana to filter into any color, which is kind of cool. You also just tap this thing to add a counter to a creature if you've Magecrafted. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I actually like this card a lot. What deck does it want to go in? A deck that doesn't have stringent mana requirements. That part's tough. Jake, thanks for sub, appreciate that. But a colorless land that can make colored mana if you need to, and then just taps to put counters on things for free. This card is solid. This card is pretty solid. It needs to be played in a deck with instant sorceries and creatures and stuff, but I think this card's pretty sweet. I like it a lot. The free activation is key. If it was like pay 1 and tap, put a counter on, no. But free activation is really, really good. I'm kind of about this card. Honestly. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. And then we have the dual lands. So we have they finished the cycle of Port Town lands. These dual lands aren't great. We saw when they were in standard, you know, the allied ones were in standard, Port Town, and so on and so forth. They're passable. You know, you will play them in your 2-color deck, but they're not particularly great. They play very poorly with other dual lands, so all of your pathways are not forests or islands. They play okay with triomes, but the problem is you want to play your triome on turn 1, which is also tough. So for the most part, these are color fixing lands that you're going to play only in 2-color decks, which I actually like, honestly. I like when lands, you can't just play a million dual lands, play 100 colors, which is kind of cool. I feel like these cards have their heart in the right place, but they're just like a notch or two too weak. And I don't know how you turn it up to make it better, but they're fine. You'll play them. They're all right. You play them in 2-color decks. They're cards. You're playing 3 colors. Don't play these. Don't play these. And then, of course, we have the common duels, the campuses for limited, and these are quite good. Tap duels are already fine. You got to fix your colors. It's a multicolored set. And then these have the extra function of tap 4 and scry 1. That is very, very expensive. But when you're mana flooded limited, that's dope. That's dope. You'd play with tap lands anyway. So a little extra bonus here. Super, super nice. Yeah, they're cool. Not playable constructed. 4 mana to scry 1 is not good. Nor is it better than a temple. Sure, wild card wise, sure. But yeah, definitely cool limited cards. Definitely feels super, super nice to have these in limited. The worst part about drafting is flooding. And anything that stops flooding is pretty great. So that's pretty cool. And that's it. We've come to the conclusion of our set review. Who was here the whole time? I was. All right? If you missed any of this, all on YouTube. Or it will be all on YouTube. If you're watching YouTube now, it's already up. If you're watching right now live, it's not up yet. Castle of Andros comes in untapped and scries 2. So we made it. All right? Again, all be on YouTube. I want to remind you all, please hit that follow button if it's first time here. I love you. My name's Jim. Welcome to the stream. I do Magic content full time. And I play every format. Mog Monday tomorrow. Hit the follow button, all right? YouTube folks, like, comment, subscribe. Again, a reminder to my sponsors, Colorless Apparel. Promo code Jim, 10% off your order for awesome shirts. We got Cool Stuff Inc. My articles are up every Monday and Friday. But link to that in chat. If you want to know about the Mystic Archives, go to my article. There it is. I go over every single one. All of them. Check that out on CoolStuffInc.com. Check out Insight Esports for great tournaments. Check out BCP Supplies for great supplies. Promo code Jim10. Woo! I'm done. I love you all. All right, YouTube folks, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on this on the set reviews. And you're all great. I love you all. Thanks, YouTube. Appreciate it.